Hi, I'm Doggo, and Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays to whoever you celebrate. Today we're looking at the X-Men 97 Sentinel. X-Men 97 is a show that came out 2 years ago, I think, 2023? I don't know, but I fucking loved it. X-Men 97 is the continuation of the original 90s X-Men show, but more or less fast-forwarding through a bunch of X-Men stories. You got new X-Men, a little bit of Astonishing X-Men, Fatal Attractions, some Age of Apocalypse, a little bit. I don't know, but I loved it and I need season 2 right now. And the Sentinel here actually doesn't really play a major part in the story. I mean, they're in the first episode as like a major set piece, but that's kind of it. The rest of the series is pretty much taken over by Bastion and the mini Sentinels or the micro Sentinels, whatever they're called. I haven't seen the show since I first watched it. All you need to know is that at least the Sentinels were in the show, which is why we have this. But what about this figure? So last time we were in this setup, I talked about the HasLab Giant Man, which is right here. You can't see it, probably. It's off camera. And that was part of the HasLab program, which this is not part of. Because everybody realized that HasLab was dumb and stupid, Hasbro decided to instead switch focus to a made-to-order program, which pretty much means there's a period of when the figure is going to get put on pre-order and then when it comes out. But the cool thing is, they don't charge you until it comes out. We so far have had Dragon Man, the Sentinel, Mephisto, and Apocalypse from also X-Men 97. And I would argue this is a way better program than the HasLab initiative. For one, HasLabs cost way more money and they charge you when the campaign ends. This I got charged when it came out in December, and then FedEx proceeded to lose my package until Wednesday. Thank you, Illinois. But now I have him and we could take a closer look at him. Take a look at the box. It is a fake window for some reason. I don't know why it just wasn't a real window. It wouldn't have cost that much money. The side, you get Sentinel artwork. On this side, you get the whole X-Men team. We still don't have Beast. And the back shows a product photo that is all renders. That's why it looks weird. And all the figures in the X-Men 97 line, excluding the 2-packs, I think. It's so funny that we got 3 waves and they still have not made Beast. That's like the one character we're missing. It's okay though, I have a Beast. So yeah, I'm just gonna open it up now. I will say, I think this is actually easier than the Giant Man video. I think that was significantly harder to open up. Probably because the box was huger. Could get the box. I'm not digging through my closet for the box. What do you guys think of X-Men 97? I think it's probably one of the best X-Men things in a while since Krakoa. I will say though, it's not perfect. I feel like the writing in the show is kind of dumb. Like Captain America was written dumb. I hated Rogue Nito. But everything else I would say was pretty sick, all things considered. So here's his coffin. Here's what you get in the box. You get this thing. Might come with a different figure. You get the figure in plastic wrap, the 2 heads, and then the blast effects down here. All right, after playing with this figure for way too long, I have to say, I like it. It's not perfect, definitely not perfect, but I will say I am quite happy with this release. The sculpting and, I think, painting on this figure is pretty good. I was actually quite nervous when this came out because I thought it looked a bit too cartoony in the renders, and I thought it wouldn't really fit with comic figures, but after getting it in hand, I was completely wrong. You can 100% use this in a comic display, and I don't think the cartoony aspects really make it bad for one, but if you're like a huge comic nerd, you probably will say, this looks nothing like the fucking Sentinel comics. You should redact yourself. But if you don't care, like me, this works perfectly fine. I realized I didn't give him, forgot to put on his stupid fan. I'm not redoing that intro part. Also, I forgot to mention this in the unboxing part, but when I was talking about price specifically, I think the HasLab Sentinel was $350-ish, while this came out to $188. But since then, Hasbro has raised the price from $188 to $220, and we'll get into the discrepancy later, but taking a closer look, the figure has very flat features, but it works for the show. He basically only has this muscle definition, and I guess you could say the arms, but it's really like very subtle. It's not all the way there. All this sculpted detail is nice. The head sculpt I actually like a lot. I'm gonna take it off real quick. I like the beady eyes. It's definitely not perfect, but I do like how they look on this figure. And the head sculpt I think is honestly the best part. And just like how you saw me take it off, you can put it next to other Marvel. I should probably do this in the comparison, right? Yeah, fuck it, I'm already doing it. Here he is next to Beast. So it's not that big. One of the biggest things I wanted to do was recreate that scene from New X-Men #1, or I guess X-Men 114, where Scott's shooting the head of the Sentinel, but I guess you could recreate it if you really wanted to, but the scale isn't right. And I also think the proportions work significantly better on this figure. One of the things I didn't like about the HasLab Sentinel is he looked really chunky. Like, Sentinel is supposed to be a very thin robot, like even if it looks like a person, and the legs are always super long, and he's really thin in general. The HasLab always looked like they just slapped a Sentinel head on top of an Iron Man, which isn't horrible, but this definitely feels way more like a Sentinel to me than the other release. The other release, which I don't own. All the sculpted detail on isn't really painted. I mean, this part is, but like the arm gauntlets aren't, and so aren't the boots. But I do like how they look. He has big old Mega Man feet. And the back of the figure is pretty much the same. We will talk about those in a second. But overall, the sculpting in paint is great. Now let's get into the negatives. This figure has pinholes. Well, they're not actually pinholes, they're screw holes for the joints, but I still think it's dumb that they didn't cover them. The Giant Man didn't have screw holes. The HasLab Sentinel and Galactus at least had screw caps if you wanted to make the screws tighter. But these are just out in the open, and that's kind of dumb. Some person will probably 3D print screw caps and make $1 billion. But as the figure stands, that's really disappointing with the screw cap. But overall, I do really like it. One thing I do suggest is you take the head off and just place it on top of the joint. The reason is if you push it all the way down, he doesn't really have a neck, and we'll get into articulation, but it also kind of messes up the neck. Also, another thing, people have said that they have had chewing on their neck. Mine probably has it. I haven't really looked. Yep, it has it. So just know that if you get this figure, the neck will chew up when you move it around. I don't know how to fix that. I think I saw a post. If I find that post, I will link it in the description, but until then, you're just kind of fucked with the neck part. Another thing, I think in the promo photos, they showed him not having a thigh cut, which was weird. They fixed it later in the promo photos and the actual prototype, but it was really weird that the render didn't have thigh cut. I think the hands are done way better on this than something like Giant Man. Giant Man, you kind of had to pull and push the fingers, otherwise they would fucking break. This one is far better. They are buttery smooth how the fingers move, and they work significantly better. And as for the sturdiness, he's pretty sturdy. He's shaking a lot. That's because of the ratchets, which are entirely around the figure, which feel nice. Ratchets are always better for bigger figures like this. So, and even if all of those were nitpicks, I do have one real nitpick, and it's kind of just, I wish he had a light up feature. Like, obviously it makes no sense. I mean, of course a light up feature is not needed. I think the HasLab kind of suffered because of the light up feature, where it kind of messed up the entire neck and he couldn't really look as much as this one does. But I don't know, I thought it would have been cool. Oh well, wait, no, he does have one play feature.
Total mutant annihilation. Kill muties, behead muties, roundhouse kick a mutie into the concrete, slam dunk a mutant baby into the trash can, crucify filthy mutants, defecate in
that's enough of that. Getting into his accessories, you really only get a few things. His normal arc reactor thing, which you could just pop out and replace with a battle damage one, which actually looks really cool. It's painted, the wires are, that's really nice, and it has a bunch of slashes on it. But to go with that, you get a swappable face plate. I'm actually going to show you guys how to swap the face. So first you take the dome off of him, go to the back of the head where you will see this tab on the back of the face. You're just gonna push on it, which allows the face to pop out, and then you could place on the battle damage face, which does look really sick, and then you could pop on back the damage head, and that's pretty cool. I will say it could be painted better. I don't know why they added so much sculpted detail just to barely paint it. Like, there's still wires in his mouth and all the details around his eyes, but it kind of works with the cartoony effect. No, it doesn't. That's just lazy. And then you also get a bunch of blast effects, which suck, and I hate them. You get a huge one, a little one, and then some flares for each blast effect. I think it goes maybe big one, and then the little one, and then the blast effect, and it looks like that. And same for the longer one. And you could just raise his arm up and plug them into the hands. You can get him blasting, and you can also plug them into the feet, but the peg, it doesn't go fully in. And I didn't mention the nice foot detail he has. But I think they're kind of lame accessories. Not really because they're bad. It's just there's only 2 included, and they're both different lengths. I feel like if they at least made 2 short ones or 2 long ones, at least it'd be unified, and you can make it look better in photos. But overall, that is a negative I will say about the figure, is he does not come with a bunch of accessories. I wasn't expecting like a figure, but I feel like he should have at least came with a tentacle. Did he use a tentacle in the show? If he used a tentacle in the show, I'll place the clip right here. If not, I'm a lying bastard. But even then, I feel like the main issue is no more battle damage parts. The coolest thing about this figure are the battle damage effects, and probably how I'm going to display him. So it's really disappointing that it only came with 2 pieces battle damage. I don't know how it would have messed with the integrity of the figure, but I would have really liked if they included like maybe a battle damaged arm, maybe a battle damaged leg. I mean, the HasLab came with a fucked up hand. I feel like they could have done something like this with this figure, because you can't take the hands off normally. I don't know. I just feel like at least a little bit more battle damage would have made this figure at least a little bit more worth the price. I think for the price, especially with the now price, it should have came with far more battle damage accessories, or at least some more accessories for the Sentinel to use, like the tentacle. But as we know, accessories are not everything with a figure. How well does he pose? Also, we're leaving him in battle damage mode because I don't really feel like making For articulation, like I said, if you take the head off a bit more, you'll have a little bit more neck. But for the sake of articulation, I will pop the head all the way down. He can look up that far, down a little bit, but again, if you pop the head off and you just sit it on top of that ball joint, he gets far better down. And up. Arm is on a ratchet all the way around. Hopefully you heard me. Arm goes out, bicep swivel, double bend at the elbow, which doesn't really get more than that, which is really stupid. If they just cut more of that out, they could have gotten so much more elbow. Hasbro, what's wrong with you? Swivel at the wrist, hinge in and out. You get a hinge joint swivel at the butterfly at the thumb, and then every finger is a hinge joint swivel, hinge joint swivel, hinge joint swivel fist. You can put it neatly into a fist. Kind of, it looks a little bit messed up. As for chest articulation, you only get a diaphragm, which lets you crunch that much, arc back, side to side, and a swivel. Leg goes up that far and actually holds the pose pretty well. I'm actually surprised. That only a little bit back because of the butt. Thigh swivel. Double bend at the knee, which goes pretty far. Swivel at the boot and the ankle. I feel like that's a little bit overcompensating. He didn't need both of those. Foot hinge can go up that far, can only go down that far, and can pivot. But luckily, because of how the hinge swivel thing is set up, you are able to get a little bit more pivot if you're able to move it in and then swivel that inward. And the articulation is all right. It's obviously not perfect, but I do think for such a big figure, it works really well. The only issue I have is, well, the neck, you have to fix it. And then the waist, obviously I don't need him to crunch crazy amounts. He's not Spider-Man, but I wish it got a little bit more than this. But I will say it will work because especially that, and then you have him looking down. He definitely can look down on mutants. But I definitely think with this articulation, you're fine enough to put him in any Sentinel pose, at least him getting his ass beat. Now for scale, I probably should have got a regular tape measure because all I have is a fabric one. To the top of his head, Sentinel is around 22.5 inches, which is pretty big. For scale, you can't even see me. For scale, here he is with the Mafex Wolverine and Spider-Man. Alright, so for simplicity's sake, here he is with just a shit ton of X-Men I have. You got 97 Cyclops, 97 Wolverine, the retro-carded Rogue, MVC Cable, Mafex Storm, retro-carded Savage Land Xavier, Mafex Gambit, Gamer vs. Psylocke, Retro Beast, SDCC Deadpool, and the Gamer vs. Wolverine. Better look at all that. And here he is with a bunch of 80s X-Men. We have the 97 Cyclops, the CT Toys Wolverine, Mafex Psylocke, 97 Nightcrawler, the 2-pack Colossus, retro-carded Beast again. And then here's retro-carded Iceman. I forgot to put him in with the 90s comparison. Here are some X-Men villains, just a few that I have. And here he is with the other 2 Sentinels I bought. I don't know why I bought 3. I don't, but they look cool, don't they? I'm not taking them out of the box yet. Here it is with the Astonishing X-Men, and this is basically the Sentinel they fought in the beginning of the book, right? Finally, here's the Marvel Universe Cyclops compared to the Sentinel. I was gonna grab Giant Man or Devastator down, but I'm not gonna take Devastator off my shelf, and Giant Man's right there, and god damn it. Nope. Here he is with Giant Man. He's like a little bit taller. This was not worth it. I don't want to do this. I don't want to touch this figure again. In the end, I really like him. Even my few negatives are outweighed by just how cool he looks. I will say, for a Sentinel figure, I think this is probably the second best one we have. I think the tier list goes Toy Biz Sentinel, this, the HasLab, and then whatever the fuck Marvel Universe made. But even just looking at the HasLab, I feel like this looks significantly better than that HasLab. And I feel like this fits way better than the HasLab because you could put this in with your 80s, your 90s. You can use it with a little bit in the 2000s because this is the design that attacked the Sentinels in Astonishing X-Men and also from the beginning of New X-Men. And I feel like this design is far more easy to translate with multiple teams than something like the HasLab, which was specifically made for the Krakoa era because that's what he looked like during the Krakoa era. So yeah, I'm very glad I got this and I got 2 more, which I shouldn't have bought. As for why I bought 3, I don't know, man. The Sentinels are cool. You could like army build them. It's sick to have 3, right? That's another thing. If you want to buy one, I think they're still on Hasbro Pulse. It's kind of up to you. If this was still 180 bucks, I would have said hell yes, go buy one. I would say after having it, it was worth that price. The $220 price, that's like a $50 markup including shipping and tax. And if you bought 3 of these Sentinels, you're pretty much spending almost the same amount you would have spent on one of these Sentinels just in the price hike. But if you feel so inclined to want a Sentinel, I just am basing this off of the original $180 price tag this had. But yeah, if you want a Sentinel, I would highly recommend this one. Thank you for watching this video. If you liked it, leave a comment. Let me know if you have this figure and what your thoughts are on it. I am officially back, maybe. I won't take another 7-month break. I was just very tired and I got a job and that took up all my time pretty much. And hopefully I was able to get this review out pretty much on Christmas Eve. If this doesn't come out on Christmas, it will come out on Boxing Day, or maybe it will come out on Christmas. I don't know. I've just been so busy. I really wanted to make the the NBC video this week on Christmas. But the issue was, it would have took so long. I had to talk about, what is it, 10 figures, I think? Because it's 4 2-packs, right? No, I would have talked about 12 figures. I would have talked about 10 figures. I don't think a week was enough time to make that video. And then I still have the Storm Collectible Arena video, which I want to do. And then I have the WWE one I want to make. And then there's a bunch of other stuff I want to review. So I'm sorry. I probably, next year when I have more time, because I was just swamped with work, I will 100% do all those videos. I promise you. Please don't hate me. Snuggle with your family and go watch X-Men 97. And please give us season 2, man. God damn it. I want season 2 so bad.
Okay, bye.